Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to yet another episode of Final Cut Presents Director's Cut podcast.
Where we have all the scandals about your favorite podcast hosts. I am Nathan alongside Ben, the Sultan of Non Sobriety, and we are here to discuss perhaps the biggest thing to hit the news since the producer told us to make sure to hit this in the news. We know that this isn't body slams and drop kicks, but we have to bring this up. Dean Connolly's Totally Real Elimination Chamber 2023 predictions. We did not see any of these come to fruition, but we want to ensure that each and every one of you know exactly what Dean predicted, because Dean, he respectfully asked that a lot of people make appearances. And
Did not,
unfortunately, what
did
we are
not,
having to do is
not,
go in and make sure that for whatever reason, Dean
did
Connolly
not,
is okay. So we are here, ladies and gentlemen.
did
He
not,
asked
did
for the
not, did not,
following
did
people to
not,
show
did
up:
not,
Kate
did
Bosworth,
not,
Ben
did
Stiller,
not,
Adam
did
Sandler as
not,
Henry Roth, Kevin James, and Jill from Jack and Jill, who is also Adam Sandler. Dean also suggested that Bobby Hill, the bastard son of Hank and Peggy, showed up at Elimination Chamber, which did not happen. He bet $1,000 that Scott Eastwood, Mae Young, and all the Kardashians would appear on this show. And he stated that if either Roman Reigns or Sami Zayn somehow won the Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn match, he would surrender all control of the podcast to me, the new Sunday Night Boss. Listen, I don't know what is happening with Dean, but I'm asking each and every one of us to come together for my friend and fellow podcast host Dean on the greatest scandal to hit the podcast since, I don't know, David Schwimmer starring in Trash Bag, the musical. Thank you for that moment of silence. My name is Nathan, and I'm here
Moment of
for
silence.
all of you.
What the hell's that?
Ben Walsh
Just said
is
my
also
moment of silence.
Ben Walsh is also here, the Sultan of Non-Sobriety. And how is life, my liege?
Unexpectedly sober at the moment.
But for God's sakes, you're going against your name, the Sultan of Non-Sobriety.
Yeah, I
Non-Sobriety.
make other people non-sober.
Ladies and
My,
gentlemen, I would actually like to make an announcement as well. What if you haven't seen the body slams and drop kicks from last week? You will know.
the Roddy Reds and Rockets.
Yeah, body slams and drop kicks.
Roddy Reds and Rockets.
These two, and it turns out that Nathan doesn't know Ben as well as Ben knows Nathan. So Benjamin, you are automatically in D&D and Final Cuts Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Ben. It is an honor and a pleasure.
What can I say?
You will join such classics as Helena Fraser. You will join such classics as Sierra Hanna, Mackenzie Gray,
Indeed.
Daniel Nelson.
Yes.
And Dean's personal favorite, who's got her own wing, Kate Bosworth.
No way. No. The only person who's going, the only woman at the minute who's going in that Hall of Fame is Rachel Stevens.
Kate Bosworth is what he said.
Rachel Stevens actually is what I said.
Kate Bosworth is exactly.
I'm sorry, Rachel Stevens is a timeless classic. What classic has Kate Bosworth ever done?
I think you called it. What was it? Blue. Thunder
I didn't call it anything. You did.
That's. I seem to remember. I'll have to ask the producer after our show.
Oh right, so you I'm sorry, you hot fasted my producer.
Well, the thing is, buddy, we've got to ask the producer about all of the interesting things about you, so we've got total transparency here. Okay,
Ben,
so
can you get Nathan a girlfriend so we can actually do this to him? Because at the minute it seems like I'm the only one here who's getting picked on.
But
that's impossible.
See?
In that case, I'll ask his mum and dad, shall I?
Well, there you go. Good luck with that.
Oh, don't worry. I always have a way. The producer always has a way. Now, can I please get on with the news?
Well, I didn't know. You didn't say that you were going to get on with the news, Dean.
I'm going to get on with the news now.
We had a huge bit of scandalous stuff, and you're trying to just sweep it all under the rug.
Says the man who basically wants HBK to be his wife, mother of his kids, his nanny.
Hey, hang on. That is mother and father and grandfather and aunt and crazy uncle we cannot have over anymore. Make sure to get it right if you're going to slander me.
I'm going to I hope a producer's listening so she can send that to Shawn Michaels as people.
Are you having fun, Dean?
I am actually now, yeah.
There you go.
I mean, if you do that, you might actually get Nathan an autograph from Shawn Michaels in the form of a restraining order.
I was thinking more of a cease and desist.
He can be Final Cut's version of Sheldon Cooper.
I was thinking more of a cease and desist. They've got so much better lettering.
Yeah, but they're unique in their own special way.
Yeah, that's true.
So
are you going to get on with the news then?
I'm trying to, but somebody keeps interrupting.
Well, you said you were going to get on with the news, and then we had this long, awkward. Okay.
Right, and Rice's Mayfair Witches starring Alessandra Daddario has been renewed for season 2. Haven't seen season 1, but I have heard great things about it. Actually, gentlemen, this is a hot discussion of topic. AMC Theatres has unveiled a new tiered pricing system based on seat location.
Yes,
yeah. I'm just gonna say this now. I don't care where I sit. For me, sitting on the left or the right is just as good as sitting in the middle. So I don't really much care about it.
See, for me, it's just like one of those Seat Geek sites, where Seat Geek works is that it's an aggregate and it will show you seating prices based on the open market. With AMC Theaters, this is AMC Theaters having 110% control over the pricing of the seats, so you're not getting a good deal.
Yeah. There's a rumor that Yellowstone that stars Kevin Costner might be ending because there's a follow-up starring Matthew McConaughey, and it rumors that it may be ending, but if the end is near, this would not be it for the show, as Matthew McConaughey is reportedly in talks to star in a new Yellowstone series, which would serve as a bridge during the transitional period. So I think I'm right in saying that Yellowstone is been going for about 5-6 seasons now. Yeah. I haven't actually watched it. I've heard great things about it. It is actually on my Paramount Plus list to watch. But
everyone at my work talks about it, and I haven't seen a thing. But if Matthew McConaughey is going to star in the sequel, I hope he has his Lincoln.
I hope he just goes at some point. Yes, sir. All right. It could be
talks about his Lincoln.
It's not a true Matt McConaughey project until he's at least done that once. I don't know how I feel about this, gentleman. There's going to be a sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. There's going to be a third movie in the I Know What You Did Last Summer trilogy, because there is one being made with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. in talks to star in the film. No dates have been confirmed just yet. But I really don't see the point of a trilogy.
Here's the thing. I would, but they have to change around the cast list. You can have your Freddie Prinze Jr. absolutely, but also have Sarah Michelle Gellar, Matthew Lillard, and Linda Cardellini. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scooby-Doo. And believe it or not, it will not be the worst thing to come out of that franchise this year.
Unfortunately, Sarah Michelle Gellar was in the first one, and she died a very brutal death.
Well, then bring her back, or maybe the gang is trying to resurrect Daphne for a wake. I don't know. Just make sure it happens.
But in fairness, it can't be any worse than I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, because I have it in my DVD collection and I haven't watched it in about 15, 20 years.
I really know what you did last summer 35 years ago.
To be honest with you, there's some people who say, well, if you can do that with Scream, why can't you do that with that? But the difference is it's sort of relying on a newer cast, while not I'm trying to think of a word I'm trying to use here.
Are you saying
they're not relying on the older cast, because David Arquette, spoiler alert, was killed in Scream 5, so he's not in this. Neve Campbell's not in Scream 6 because the studio didn't want to pay her the money she should have had. Courtney Cox is in this, but I don't think Courtney's going to be in it that much. I think this is mainly about Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. So as far as I'm concerned, it says Scream 5 and Scream 6, but this is actually a new beginning for the series with the occasional cameo from Courtney. That's what I envision Scream 6 to be.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Ah! Job's a joke, you're broke, your love lies be away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. No one's there for you.
Oh, Dave, Toy Story 5 is officially in development.
I know, and I don't know how to feel.
As
is Zootopia 2 and Frozen 3.
Yeah.
Well, I know how to feel about both of those.
If I am a big fan of the Frozen series.
Absolutely. I want it to be thrown into the fire where it belongs.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be frozen.
Ice clean and throw it into the unknown where we can just let it go.
Bob Iger has announced it, explained it, that they will be resurrecting some of the biggest titles in the company's history. If Bob Iger is actually behind this and not Bob Chapek, or is it Dave Chappelle? I forget which one it is.
No, you were right the second time. Chappelle.
Oh, I didn't know, because half the time Bob Chapek made decisions like Dave Chappelle would. I'm actually going to reserve my judgment until it comes out. It might be good, but the only problem is, unless you have another Let It Go as far as the Frozen franchise goes, it will not work.
So here's the thing. I don't think Bob Iger is concerned about whether or not it works. I think what Bob Iger is doing is going back and saying, these franchises made us several $billion.
Yeah.
And in an era where we are hemorrhaging money, it might be good to put money into animation, which can make us several $billion, even in merchandising. That is a strong move, and yet you're caring enough about animation to bring back these old properties.
Uh-huh.
As much as I don't know how to feel about Toy Story 5 or Zootopia 2, Frozen 3, wherever you stand on that, it makes good financial sense to rely on those timeless classics because they worked before, they're going to work again, and they're going to make Disney a truckload of money. That's literally what they do. That is what all animation does if it's cared for and brought up the right way. And I'm sorry to tell you, Toy Story 5 is likely going to have a passionate team behind it, as is Zootopia 2. Frozen 3, not sure. But if you bring it in with any sort of modicum of passion, it's going to work. And it's going to work very well. You don't just cancel off projects for tax write-offs, like a certain executive that Dean likes to, I don't know, hug the nuts of, even though he knows he won't get into.
That's what a certain person who we all know does with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
Speaking of big money, Bob Iger's revealed that 7 years ago, Ike Perlmutter was intent on firing Kevin Feige from his role, but Bob Iger said, I thought that was a mistake and stepped in to prevent that from happening. Can you imagine if Kevin Feige would have been fired?
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been disastrous.
Yes, exactly. It would be like a train wreck that you couldn't look away from.
Yep, and who knows, Kevin Feige would now be, if this was an alternate reality and Kevin Feige had been fired, he would be more than likely leading the now successful DCU, which was done by a man with true vision.
Are you talking about the DCU now or the DCU under Kevin Feige?
The DCU that would be under Kevin Feige.
Oh, thank Christ.
Oh, thank Christ. I was going to say, it's not successful.
No, I said it would be successful in an alternate reality.
Oh, thank Christ.
But it is a thing, like, what if Kevin Feige would actually be running the DCU now instead of James Gunn?
We would have projects that respected the DC universe.
Yep.
We wouldn't have to worry about animated stuff being canceled for tax write-offs, even though a bunch of it was done. We wouldn't have to worry about the Animaniacs ending because of a licensing deal with Hulu that Warner Brothers didn't want to keep.
Oh, speaking of laying off, Bob Iger has announced that the company will be laying off 7,000 employees across almost all Disney's various brands as they venture to cut back $5.5 billion in costs.
At the same time, they produced a several million-dollar ad for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was great timing, Bob.
Oh, by the way, Nathan, have you seen the first season of latest seasons of South Park?
Absolutely, yes. Love it.
And apparently, there's the premiere episode called "Cupid Ye" has torn Kanye West, to disgrace and shreds and everything else. Apparently, you can actually confirm this. Cartman's Cupid Me countermorphs into a twisted Cupid Ye, a cherub who shoots hard filled with anti-Semitic. I can't say that. Instead of love at his targets.
Yep.
Right. When this is done and B&D is done, how funny is it?
It's not as funny as the episode they released this week, mocking the Royals.
But seriously, I'd be laughing my head off at Cupid.
You might be. It's very 50-50 on whether or not you'd laugh at it. There are a few really, really good jokes with it. That's I don't want to give anything away on it. I will tell you, if you're anything like me, you'll like episode 2 a lot more than QPD, but it definitely does do the whole anti-Semitic errors thing, and it's funny.
That sounds like it's going to be fun for Kanye West. I'm surprised he hasn't sued Matt Stone and Trey Parker, actually.
Oh, he has. He just lost. Like when they did the Kanye West is a gay fish thing.
Yeah.
He sued them. He lost.
He would lose. Well, I'm not even going to bother.
So then they made fun of him again when he was.
Yeah, well, they probably made fun of him again. Actually, this is actually quite kiddie friendly. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this. Mattel is rebooting Barney with a new film and animated series. Although
he looks like the spawn of Satan. It's great.
It is. Fred Soule, GM of Mattel Television, said it was important to us that we properly reflect the world that kids today live in so that the series can deliver meaningful lessons about navigating it. Well, that's funny. I don't think we as well. I turn 40 in 6 weeks. Nathan's in his 30s. Ben, are you in your 30s as well?
Yep.
So literally, we could actually between us, we could deliver meaningful life lessons. Like, for instance, the world is not fair, so you have to make sure that the world is going to be fair to you.
How about something like, don't go to KFC, Mary Brown's is better.
I agree with Ben. That is a very important life lesson that you need to learn, kiddies. Come down to Canada. We'll treat you right. Oh, poutine is an excellent source of all the major food groups. So make sure to eat poutine as much as you can.
If you step on something and it hurts, maybe don't step on it.
If you step on something and it hurts, maybe step on it again.
Yep. If you feel like you're in a horror movie, don't have sex.
If a leprechaun tells you to burn things, maybe just follow his advice. He knows what he's doing. He's a leprechaun.
If you feel like you have diarrhea, do yourself a favor and make love to your toilet.
Tomorrow is the last day of your life.
Go out with a bang.
Always live for today, because tomorrow is only a day away.
If it burns, go see a doctor.
If it freezes, go see a doctor.
If you got a top hat, maybe just don't.
If it's hydrochloric acid you're looking for, go on down to the Ace Chemical plants. They've got some good shit.
Kids.
If you're accused of being a little off tune, maybe grab a pitchfork and see if it's right instead of causing a big scene and one of you becoming famous rather than the other one.
But as an addendum to that, make sure that you're actually the one who's flat. If somebody else is flat, totally do whatever is necessary.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody in America, remember, American football is not football, it's rugby.
Everyone in the United Kingdom, remember, United Kingdom football isn't football, it's soccer.
No, it's not.
I love you, you love me, we're a happy family.
That's the thing, though, we do feel like a happy family. If I may, season 3 of Ted Lasso is premiering on Apple TV on March 15th.
Yay.
I'll tell you what you will yay about. We actually have a villain for Deadpool 3.
I'm listening.
Best known for a breakout role in Netflix's The Crown, where she played Princess Diana, Emma Corrin will join Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in Deadpool's first Marvel Studios-led sequel. Doesn't say anything about who she's playing, but to be honest with you, if she can pull off a good Princess Diana, there's sky's the limit on who she could be.
So to be perfectly honest with you, Dean, if I may, I was already into Deadpool 3 as soon as Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman released the Wake Me Up Before You Go trailer. It's the second best trailer to ever use Wake Me Up Before You Go. The first one is the Zoolander gasoline fight.
Oh. Don't you have a laugh? I'll take that as yes. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey director wants to make a Teletubbies movie.
Can it be a horror?
It is a horror.
Yeah,
that's what the guy does.
Oh, okay.
The Teletubbies are weird. It says Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey director Reese Frake Waterfield. I've always found them really, really strange, and they look alien, and they look really odd. And I think that's something you could do with them to make them creepy as hell.
Let's finally answer the question of what Tubby Custard actually is.
And why we call them Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Poe.
Obviously,
although saying that, apparently Reese Frake Waterfield has actually been receiving death threats because of the Winnie the Pooh movie he made.
Yay.
That's just...
I thought it looked beautiful.
It does. I think it looks brilliant. It's like, who wants to go down the 100-acre wood and have honey? No. Who wants to go down the 100-acre wood and watch a load of grisly murders? I will.
Deep in the heart. Deeper.
Yeah.
Deeper.
Into the woods today. NCIS looks like it will be back for season 21, which I'm happy for because I'm enjoying season 20. Brian Dietzen, who plays Dr. Jimmy Palmer, says he opened up in potential about writing another episode because he's been writing a few episodes. It won't be for this season, though. I've been chatting with our showrunner, Steve Binder, talking about what we're going to get ready for next year. That's in the works right now. But nothing that's impending for this season. So, as a man who didn't watch NCIS for 6-7 seasons because literally the heart and soul, that is Anthony DiNozzo left. And it was like, right, I'll watch it next season, see if it still rings true. No humor, so I thought, no. But I did watch one of the crossovers with NCIS Hawaii, where Katrina Law was in, and I must admit, having her in it has actually kind of made it feel like there's a female version of Anthony DiNozzo. He's in case you two don't watch it, he's the one who's basically the comedian. He's sarcastic and basically likes to make inappropriate, not so much inappropriate comments, but funny ones. Like when he called Timothy McGee, who's been there since season 2, when he was a probie, he used to call him Obi-Wan Probie. Used to make a lot of, I was giving him some nicknames and used to wind him up a lot, but it was a nice sort of fun. And bearing in mind, this was also the guy who would just be running his mouth and Leroy Jeffro Gibbs would just be standing behind him. And then he would, after he stopped talking, he'd go, he's standing behind me, isn't he? And he'd be like, will you tell me? So I hope there is a season 21 and I'm looking forward to it. There has been a first look of Lady Gaga in Joker 2, playing
Yeah,
Harleen Quinzel.
don't like it.
It's a musical. I'm kind of ish and ish about it, but I'll wait for the first trailer before I decide on anything. Oh, Nathan,
Like
here's
it.
one for you. William Langford of Stowmarket in Suffolk, England, has challenged himself to ink all 151 original Pokemon to benefit the Blue Cross Animal Welfare Charity. He came up with the idea after learning that longtime Pokemon anime protagonist Ash Ketchum was leaving the series.
Okay, I'm listening so far. Loving
That's
this
it.
so far.
That's it, mate.
That's it. That's it. He's just gonna ink all 151. You're not trying to get like original scale or something kind of cool.
I'm judging from what I've been reading, and I have actually seen a few. It's kind of like normal. It's kind of like a normal tattoo, not a small one, but kind of like. So if you're going to have a Charizard, let's say, if I seem to remember correctly, it would be like fairly big. So it wouldn't just fit on your arm; it would have to be somewhere on your back. Who knows? I'm actually waiting for the time when someone says, "Can I have a Charizard on my buttocks, please?" Because at least when he farts, there's a chance that you could actually light him on fire.
Charizard use flamethrower.
Indeed,
It's super effective.
it is. John Wick is nearly 3 hours long. It says the newest John Wick film will reportedly be the longest in the series, clocking in at a total runtime of 2 hours 49 with credits. So knock about 9 minutes of that off the credits, and that's how long it'll actually be. MCU writers have a story for Spider-Man 4, Kevin Feige says. He says, all I will say is we have a story. We have big ideas for that, and our writers are just putting pen to paper right now. Here's an idea. Include more elements from One More Day. Then you guarantee
Yes.
another 2 billion.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing. Spider-Man One More Day is one of the greatest comic book stories in reported history. And we can see that. The proof is in the pudding with Spider-Man No Way Home, which took so many elements from One More Day. And what did it gross? About $2 billion.
Over 2 billion, I think.
Either way, what does that tell you? It's that if you have a great creative team behind you and the visionary and the groundedness and grandeur of Spider-Man One More Day, do tremendous things with it.
Have you two seen I Am Legend with Will Smith?
Yes.
There's a sequel.
Okay.
I Am Legend 2 is to star Michael B. Jordan and Will Smith, set decades after the original. If you're wondering how that's possible, just let me finish this. The alternate ending will be used as canon in the upcoming sequel, which will trace back to the original Matheson book, according to Akivia Goldsmith, the screenwriter behind I Am Legend. Now, I haven't seen this ulterior finish, but I'm going to assume it doesn't involve Will Smith being burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
I generally don't know. Bearing in mind I haven't seen the alternate ending, so I didn't even realise there was one until I was looking at this. I don't know how that ending is, so I can't comment whether it's feasible for a sequel, but I think this is becoming the problem with sequels. It's 20 years nearly between I Am Legend and I Am Legend 2. Why wait so long?
Yeah. They just didn't have the idea there, probably.
But I generally don't know.
It's not like Will Smith is trying to make a comeback after what happened, last year or 2 years ago at the Oscars?
Wait another 8 years. Wait another 9 years. Well, serve your time to the Oscars. Your movie's not going to be received very well because people will dig this up from your past. Do some philanthropic work. Like help people understand. Hell, why don't you go to a comedy club and have Chris Rock heckle you for 2 hours?
Yeah. I honestly feel if anyone does watch it, it'll be for Michael B. Jordan because he is hot property right now. Everyone will just go with it. They'll go and watch it, and they won't even think about Will Smith until he's actually on screen. They're like, oh, I didn't know Will Smith was in this. I just thought Michael B. Jordan was in it.
Yeah, people will watch it. Even people who, well, know Will Smith is in it. People will watch it.
Yeah. Squid Game 2 Season 2 starts filming this summer. According to Lee Jung Jae, who star of Squid Game, he says Squid Game 2 will begin filming in the summer, and the filming will likely last for about 10 months. Seeing as season two will be bigger in scale, it will probably take longer to complete. So, how many years are we thinking, gents, before season 2 is released on Netflix? So you've got 10 months of filming. So I'm going to give it between 2.5 years before it's actually released on Netflix.
I'm going to give it a depends on how badly Netflix needs it.
Generally, I have no clue.
Generally, I'm going to say 1.5 to 2 years. It depends on how badly Netflix needs it, due to the fact that they are rolling out their lovely little password sharing crackdown in several areas of the world, including Canada, which makes really no logical sense because you're not really offering people anything new or interesting in order to keep their subscriptions at the same time you're doing this. This feels like a very transparent cash grab above all else for the same level of content.
I think, to be honest, by the time season 2's finished, people have literally just forgot about Squid Game. They're like, when we're waiting for a second season, yeah, do we know when it's out? No. Oh, right, we'll just move on to something else. That's the thing with streaming. There's always something else to replace the one thing that you're waiting for. Hell, as far as Disney Plus goes, and anyone who's got Disney Plus knows this, you have it's got to a point where you'll have one Marvel show starts, then when it finishes, you'll have either Star Wars to pick it up or another Marvel show to pick it up. That's kind of like why I like Disney Plus more than a lot, because they've always got new content coming out, particularly for me. Whereas Amazon has a lot of stuff out because they make their own stuff, but it's a case of, I feel that despite Disney only owning like Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, actual Disney itself, I still feel there's enough on there, because bearing in mind they bought 20th Century Fox as well, so you've got stuff like on FX, which is where NCIS is actually shown. So you've got all that, and NCIS Hawaii is on its second season. NCIS is on its 20th season now. The only thing I'm waiting for is NCIS LA, which is not on either of it on that because it's on Sky.
And the thing is, with Disney Plus too, you've got a lot of stuff for a low price. I remember when they jacked the prices up here in Canada, they had an ace up their sleeve to massage it in. We've got Star, which means we got a lot of animated programming. We got a lot of adult-oriented content, both old and new. And if you're going to raise the price by 30-40%, you've got that content to back you up. I said Disney played its hand. It's a damn good hand.
Yeah.
And I am perfectly happy paying the subscription price, because when they jacked it, they gave us a reason to jack it.
Yeah.
Whereas Netflix, I'm not sure how much it is over in Canada, but I think the most expensive tier you can have is about 15, 16 quid.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous here.
It's just literally the same package. The only difference is you can have 4 screens at the same time, which is a bit pointless, really.
$21 for 4 screens and 4K resolution. It's about the only service I know that locks its resolution away behind its higher tiers.
Yeah.
That's absolutely disgusting. And what's more, what you're doing right now when it comes to the password sharing breakdown is you're essentially having people with expensive tiers who want to keep like sharing passwords pay, what has it been, an additional $8 a month per account?
Yeah,
on top
it's
of
fucking ridiculous.
On top of what, like we pay what, $21?
Yeah,
something for premium tier.
Yeah, and it after taxes, it comes to 26.
Yeah,
and then
20.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It is
absolutely ridiculous.
At least if you have Amazon Prime, at least you are getting like stuff you can buy off Amazon included in your price as well.
Exactly. You get, first of all, Amazon Prime is much cheaper.
Yeah.
I would rather pay $80 a year or $100 a year, depending on where you live, to get Prime Video, plus Amazon in itself and preferential shipping and all that jazz.
Yeah.
The other thing is as well. I'm just trying to think. What was it I watched the other day? It's because Amazon have bought MGM and there's a lot of like stuff on there. I know they bought MGM and you can literally watch all the Bond movies nowadays. So that's all every single movie from Sean Connery to Daniel Craig's last one on Amazon Prime. I will admit one thing: Amazon Prime actually has more decent stuff on there than everyone would like. There's Dario Argento's 1975 movie Suspiria, which I've been trying to find for ages. Granted, I do find it on Amazon Prime. It is missing a few bits and bobs, but still, at least I can go to YouTube now and say, I have actually seen Dario Argento's Suspiria, not the 2.5 hour one that Amazon redid last year. It's really good. If you love horror, it's literally even worse than watching Halloween. There's more loud noises and more blood than anything. If horror is your thing, that is.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to have a bit of news here about something that I've never, ever promoted on this podcast before.
Okay.
There's a season 2 of Next in Fashion on Netflix from March 3rd with special guest star supermodel Gigi Hadid.
Oh, that is lovely. Make sure you walk on the catwalk, darling.
I actually watched the trailer the other day. Do you know what the fifth? I think it was like the 6th to the 12th words were in that trailer. Has anyone got a needle? I whip my dress. It's like, okay, all right. That's how you want to. That's how you want to lead with this thing. That's fair enough.
It's gonna be one of those shows, is it?
To be honest with you, I am actually a bit more. I'm not really the greatest fashion man, but I can appreciate a good fashion show. I did used to watch Victoria's Secrets before we cancelled it. I've seen all 4 volumes of Rihanna's Fenty show, and I do really enjoy that one. But I must admit, I'm not sure if there was actually a season 1, which I don't think anybody watched. But the fact of the matter is, if you bring someone in as far into the modelling world as Gigi Hadid is, then that must mean something. Not to mention the fact they probably paid her a bucket as well to host it. So it'd be like, okay, this might be worth watching.
I'm just not a big fan of anything Netflix is doing these days.
The biggest thing is congratulations, a fashion show. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Compete with RuPaul's Drag Race if you want to. I don't care. And like they don't do enough to make me personally care. I'm not big into it.
Oh, Ivan, if I told you Breaking Bad is being rebooted into a new TV show set in Korea, would that interest you?
I would say,
No.
Where the hell is Hal and Lois?
Exactly.
The honest thing is not much here, but the remake will reportedly have 4 seasons and to be directed by Lee Chang-yeol. But to be fair, let me just say one thing about Korea, gentlemen. Last Train to Busan.
It's a decent
That's supposed to be
movie.
really good.
So I
haven't seen it, though.
actually think I'm gonna go out a bit of a limb here and just have a guess here, but I have a feeling that this Breaking Bad Korean one might actually be as good as Breaking Bad itself.
It depends on how they do. If it's just announced, anything we could say about it would be speculation.
Yeah.
It depends on what they do and what proof comes out of the pudding.
Yeah. I actually have some Deadpool 3 news. It is actually going to be Disney. It's going to be Marvel Studios' first rated R film.
Makes sense.
Now, I don't know whether that includes Edge or not, because then it would be too much for rated R.
Deadpool kind of needs to be that, otherwise it's...
At minimum.
Otherwise, you might as well put Muppets on there and just have them play Deadpool and everyone else.
Hey, A Very Merry Deadpool came out.
I did enjoy that, actually.
Yeah.
But no, if you're a mainline Deadpool fan, it's got to be at least R. At least. It's the only way it works.
I have Henry Cable news. Have you two got Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Cable and Isaac Gonzalez's new film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, is headed to Prime Video. According to Hollywood Reporter, Lionsgate and Amazon have teamed up to buy the rights to the movie, with the former securing US distribution rights and the latter acquiring rights in various other territories, including Europe, Central and South America, and India. It's been directed by Guy Ritchie, who needs no introduction at all, as you two well know. Inspired by real events, the World War II epic will follow Winston Churchill and James Bond creator Ian Fleming as they start up their secret World War II combat organization. The unit's unconventional fighting tactics against the Nazis helped turn the direction of war and introduce what is now known as the Black Ops Unit.
Okay.
I'll just give you the rest of the cast because I actually do have some here. Cable and Gonzalez joined in the film by Henry Golding.
Okay.
Carrie Elwes, who was Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and Lawrence Gordon from Saw. Alan Richardson, soon to be seen in Fast 10 and Reacher Season 2. Henry Zaga, Alex Pettifer, Hero finds Tiffin. That is Ralph Fiennes' nephew, by the way. Babs, this is a mouthful, hold on. Babs Olusanumokun and Til Schweiger, who is, if you want a German villain, he is probably the most reliable German that you will have. It is also reported that Lionsgate is planning the theatrical release for it next year, with the movie positioned as first of a possible franchise. The minute you said Guy Ritchie, I was instantly interested. So, but the fact is that now you include Henry Cavill, all that lot, and Isaac Gonzalez, who I feel hasn't. I won't say hasn't had a good action role, but I think she really needs to have like a starring role, because in Hobbs and Shaw, she was just basically in the background, helped them out for 2 minutes, and then that was it. But I really want to see Isaac Gonzalez be like a proper action hero. So you two are interested?
I was interested at Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes, Jesus. In that case, may I recommend Saw 1 and the final chapter of Saw, which is when he's...
Yeah, I've seen them. But like Robin Hood Robin Hood. He was Pierre Despereaux in Psych. He was a recurring character, really great character, loved him for it. And also The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor.
I definitely can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan, I have 2003 Daredevil news now.
Okay.
Actually, I won't phrase that. I would actually call this an apology. 20 years after, yes, 20 years after release, Daredevil director admits he crammed the story with too much stuff. Mark Steven Johnson has been quoted as saying, one of the mistakes I made with the film was I wanted to put everything in. I wanted to do Daredevil's origin story, I wanted to do the Elektra saga, and I wanted to introduce Bullseye and Foggy. So it only took 20 odd years, but at least he's apologized for the shambolicness of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. You apologized 20 years later. What are you going to do to make amends for it?
Oh, by the way, sorry, carry on, Ben.
I just said nothing.
Sure.
We're sorry. The Pooh, I did mention this earlier. Winnie the Pooh horror director has already received death threats over the film. The premise of the movie is actually, basically, we know what it is. British director Rhys Frake Waterfield says some people aren't too keen on the concept, telling AFP, look, this is mental. I've had petitions to stop it. I've had death threats. I've had people saying they called the police. Oh my God. We are definitely in the snowflake generation. It's a movie. If you really felt that badly about it, you should have got the rights for another 100 years.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, people are going to like whatever the heck they like. There is no reason to there's no reason to show such disrespect as death threats when it comes to a freaking movie that somebody wants to make to have fun with it, regardless of what it is, unless your original studio is promoting it. I can see that a little bit, but again, no death threats to the creators, please. It's one of those
up for grabs, and he said, "You know what? I'll make a nice horror film about it."
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Bravo to him.
Marvel Studios has delayed the Marvels, which will basically Captain Marvel 2, but will also include Kamala Khan from what was her Disney Plus series again? I can't remember. My brain's gone. And Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau. They released the first poster for the film. I don't know if you two have seen it.
Have not.
No.
Oh, that's a nice poster.
It is actually. The Last of Us is outpacing House of the Dragon's viewership. Viewers have streamed a total of 897 million minutes of HBO's The Last of Us between January 22nd and 7th, making it more popular than House of the Dragon during its equivalent period. Just briefly, an unrated version of Megan is coming to digital this month. It released on theaters with PG-13 rated. It will arrive on Peacock on, just let me see what day is today. In 5 days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this Friday, with both a theatrical version and an unrated edition with more blood and guts from the killer doll. So I haven't seen it. I've heard great things about it. Just let me find the last bit of news because I have to go back a little bit. Oh, I'll say in ad chat. So if I may give you a bit of advice regarding whatever you can do. Las Vegas, 70 years ago, you could buy a hotel for $3 million there, and you could literally, absolutely make a killing with it. I mean, Dubai 24 years ago was just literally sand. If you literally bought one spot for about $10, can you imagine how much you could sell it for now?
Oh, yeah. No, land has ballooned incredibly in price.
Right, last bit of news. I never thought I would actually say this, but I'm actually going to offer career advice.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually checked this out over the last week, and I'm going to say I actually think it could be worth it. The City University of London, which isn't that far away from King's Cross, is launching the UK's first dedicated Masters in Podcasting and a Centre of Podcasting Excellence.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, Professor Mel Bunce, yes, that's his name, Bunce, head of the journalism department, describes the degree as the first of its kind and the one that covers the full spectrum of skills needed to thrive in the podcasting industry, from audio production and visualization through to business and audience development. The new MA in podcasting comes after extensive consultation with industry leaders such as Spotify, Acast, Sony, Audio UK, and the BBC to ensure graduates gain the skills needed in podcasting to help fill the growing skills gap. Students will be challenged to develop their audio production, storytelling, and editing. They will also learn important media and business development skills. Modules include, while I catch my breath, looking at monetization, advertising and branding of podcasting, audience strategy and development, pitching, managing talent, using data and visualization, and working across a wide variety of genres. Now, I actually did a little bit of research on that. It's £10,000 for the year. It's roughly about £10,000 for the year. £5,000 if you want to do it part-time. But there's a lot. But there is actually a lot in it. I can't even remember how many there was, how much you got to do, but there's a lot. You're probably talking about 30, 35 separate modules. But I will say one thing. If you actually did do it, you could be considered a master. I'm waiting. Because I do actually want to do this. I'll be genuinely honest. I have actually seen it and I do want to do it. So I'm just imagining the day when Nathan could call me my master.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah, that would never work.
Yeah, but if I do actually have a master's degree, then he would have to call me master. I would decree.
Well, hang on a second.
No, master's degree doesn't give you a title.
Hang on a second. We're talking about people who have a. We're talking about people who've got a master's degree, Dean. I got a master's degree.
Oh, you got a master's degree?
Yes.
He does.
So I want to hear it, Dean. I want to hear
my master.
Excuse me, what?
I like it how he's only bringing this up right now after I've mentioned it.
Well, see, here's the thing.
It was irrelevant until now.
I don't like to be cocky about my educational achievements. But here you are bringing out a master's program, and now here you are bringing out a master's program. I have a master's in public service, if you really want to know.
I don't really think you're doing much of a public service right now, sir.
Well, here's the thing. I've got a master's in public service, so really, if you're talking about calling people master, I'm right here, buddy.
I'm the master of interviewees.
You don't have a degree.
Way, you are definitely not a master of quizzes because Misty Flores just tore yours to shreds.
And how many people, Dean? How many people is it that have said, "Oh God, this is easy," or "Oh God, this is really boring"? Come on, Dean, step it up. I've seen a few. You can have a bad quiz, just like you can have a bad day. And now here you go. But in any case, if you want to call somebody a master, I'm right here, Dean.
And the thing is, I would never expect you to call me that, whereas you are expecting me to call you it.
Well, yeah, now because you brought it up and you were smug about it.
Actually, I wasn't because I honestly want to do this course, but there's a lot of factors, mate.
Here's the thing about podcasting, man. I feel like it always needs to grow and evolve, otherwise it gets lost. And the thing that needs to happen with regards to podcasting and any of its courses is you have to have the passion to do it.
Yeah.
120% all the way through. So if you want to have this podcasting course, make sure you get the talent in your staff in audio editing and presenting, narration, storytelling, whatever your podcast may be. Make sure you get people with passion to teach it, because literally without that, the whole thing can just flare up and die.
Seriously, though, I do actually want to do it, but it's just the cost, which is always the number one Achilles heel with a lot of people.
Yep.
But I had a quick look, and apparently there is scholarships available that you can have.
Yep. There would be, just like any legitimate program.
So if anybody is actually thinking about having their own podcast, it's easy enough to start off, but it's always the hardest to try and keep your audience and keep yourself fresh. Because I struggle with that a lot. I genuinely do struggle with it a lot. I keep thinking, how can I make this fresh? How can I make it so people will come back rather than just listen to it once and just think, yeah, I'm not bothered about that anymore. Fortunately, we have a voiceover artist in our ranks as well, so that kind of helps.
Yes, it is an honor and a pleasure to be here each and every week.
Do you know what we should do? Even though South Park just gave me the idea, I think maybe we should have Nathan do a Eric Cartman style Cupid's list.
Give me a week.
I guess it's about a challenge, sir.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we in now? Sunday. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 2 weeks. Okay. So how about beginning of March?
Eric Cartman's Cupid list. Okay.
Yeah, done deal. Done.
Fair enough. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the topic. I did struggle this week because I thought about Jonathan Majors going over his time, whether he could be a decent candidate. The thing is, I haven't seen Ant-Man yet, so I can't. He's got Devotion on Amazon Prime as well, which I haven't watched yet, so we can't really judge that. There is a TV series that's coming up on Apple TV Plus next month. It's called Extrapolations, and it has probably the biggest star-studded cast that I've ever seen in it. I showed the chaps it. We've seen the trailer. That's all they've released. Just to let everyone know who's in this, I'll just scroll up the first 8 names there is on IMDb. Isaac Gonzalez, Toby Maguire, Marion Cotillard, Forrest Whitaker, Simon Denary, fair enough, that's probably not one. Samir, Edward Norton, Kit Harington, Kerry Russell, Diane Lane, Meryl Streep, Sienna Miller, Heather Graham, Indira Varma, Gemma Chan. Yeah, this is judging by this, and if you actually look on Wikipedia, the entirety list as well, because there is also Sienna Miller in this as well. And this just looks like one of the biggest TV projects full of A-star cast that I've ever seen. I think I can't even remember the last movie aside from maybe New Year's Day and Valentine's Day that had like a sort of star-studded cast list in it. I want to admit, I'm not. It's mainly about global warming, and I can't really say too much about it because obviously we've only seen the trailer of it. But I do like it how it's set over 8 separate years, and it's been done in, I think it's 8 episodes. Yeah, 8 episodes. Season premieres on Friday, March 17th. Apparently, Sienna Miller will be in it. So the chaps have seen the trailer before we came on air. I've seen it twice now. Once to actually have a look at it and think, "Ooh, that doesn't look too bad," and then another one to jog my memory. So gentlemen, what do we think about it? Do we think it might be watchable if you have Amazon Plus? Sorry, if you have Apple TV Plus.
Okay, so here's the thing. Number one, it is definitely star-studded. You've got Meryl Streep, Toby Maguire, and many, many others. Just off the top of my head, I can't think of any. I know it's huge. And just from watching the trailer, what I did not want to see out of this is the documentary style Save the Environment. We've got plenty of those there out there everywhere if you want to see it. Seeing the dramatization play out about the environment over several different timelines. For me personally, I hope they cover the Rachel Carson Silent Spring timeline when it comes to global warming and climate change, because a lot of her policies that they have or that she proposed are in place now across at least Canada and the United States. I think the UK was a bit more progressive, if I'm being honest, but she was looked at like an absolute madwoman for proposing those plans in the 1960s. And then after everything that she had predicted came true, it went absolutely batshit bonkers for environmental policy. So if you're doing something like that, I want to make sure that you're historically accurate. I want to make sure that you're true to the source material. Don't give it a spin, either positive or negative, and make sure that what you're doing is completely 110% invested. If I'm watching this, I want to be engrossed in the world in several different time periods. That's what I'm hoping for with this, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
I've also got I've got the guy who's done it, Scott C. Burns. His filmography includes An Inconvenient Truth, The Bourne Ultimatum. Inconvenient Truth, he was a producer. Bourne Ultimatum, a writer. The Informant, he was a writer. Director, he's done 239, The Report, This Is Films, TV. He's been a director on Californication, and I believe he's doing everything on Extrapolations. So he hasn't really directed that much, but he did write Contagion from 12 years ago. So I will say one thing, as far as I'll say disaster-like TV shows, I would actually say he's got a bit of a head start as far as Contagion goes.
I mean, it's one of those things, proof is in the pudding, I gotta see it.
Uh-huh.
I the whole time was just waiting for the big villain reveal. I mean, yeah. Spider-Man's there and everything. I didn't see Mary Jane either, which was odd.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I actually think that's...
I'm happy about it.
Yeah,
no, completely happy about it. I was just waiting for the big villain reveal, and because they usually have a big villain reveal in these things where Spider-Man's fighting, but they didn't even have the suit in there.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's Apple TV Plus. Maybe they just couldn't get the rights to the suit.
Maybe not. Maybe.
I'm hoping he's going back to the suit that he wore when he wrestled Macho Man Randy Savage.
Now that they might be able to.
Yeah. That's my favorite Spider-Man suit right there. The human spider.
I will say one thing about this. I'm always a big fan of What Ifs. Nathan knows this.
Yeah.
He knows I'm a big fan of What Ifs. I seem to remember from the two looks of a trailer, humans have set foot on Mars and cured cancer. So there is, like I said, it's an anthology series. It's What If, but then again, it'll be. I wonder if it'll be a case of as time goes on, because I think it's over the series is over about 20 odd years or 40 years in the future. But at the same time, what is it going to be about? Is it going to be a case of everyone's going to have to relocate to Mars because the Earth is uninhabitable? Because that's kind of how I feel it's being looked at. I do actually have I do have a few of the title names of the episodes if you want to hear them.
Okay.
So I'll go from 1 to 8. So 2037, which is the first one. Whale Falls, the second one. Third one hasn't actually got a title yet. Face of God, which is number 4. The Explosion, which is 5. Lola is 6. The Going Away Party in 7, which might indicate they might have to go to Mars. And Newcomen 2070. So immediately in the episode titles, you've got 33 years between the first episode and the season finale.
Yeah.
Do I know how long? I'm going to say I don't know how long everyone's in these for. I just need to go and quickly check IMDb.
Well, it's one of those things. I can imagine it would be similar to how they did Arrested Development season 4, where they've got the actors all together for one episode and just a replay of events, so that from different actors and actresses' perspectives. That's what I imagine they're going for here, because I can't imagine all of those stars being able to stick around for the 2 months or whatever the filming cycle is.
Yeah. I could very well see it being something like that.
Now, I don't know about you, though, but I do want to see Sound of Silence being played by a mariachi band, if it is that case.
You got to have some sort of tune in, yeah. Right, the only ones, as far as I'm aware, who are in it for 8 episodes is Isaac Gonzalez, Tobey Maguire, and Marion Cotillard. Forest Whitaker's in it for 8 episodes. Ed Norton's in it for 1 episode. Kit Harington's in it for 1 episode. Kerry Russell from The Americans is in it for 1 episode. Diane Lane's in 1 episode, as is Meryl Streep. Sienna Miller's in 1. Heather Graham's in 1. Indira Varma's in 1. Gemma Chan's in 1. Judd Hirsch is in 1. Just have a look at all cast and crew quickly. I'll just go.
So it is sort of like so it is sort of like Arrested Development season 4.
Yeah, Matthew Rhys is in 1. Just so you know, Daveed Diggs, who was in the Netflix TV series Snowpiercer, he's in 1. James Gandolfini's son Michael Gandolfini's in this. He's in it for 1 episode. That's not who I thought it was. Just see if there's anyone else that I think. But yeah, there's not that many in all 8 episodes. There's only 3. Everyone else looks to be in just 1. So at least there will be at least some continual of at least 5 actors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actors in all 8, whereas everyone else is just in it for a couple.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's one of those things. You've got the overarching group, and then the spotlights on several different actors or actresses per episode. It sounds really similar to Arrested Development season 4.
Yeah, and I think that really only hurt Arrested Development, but who knows how it will be for this?
It might help this though, because this is over several different eras.
Yeah, and it's not picking up on like
Season
a show
3.
that already existed that was beloved by many,
including us.
Yeah.
I don't really there's anything else to really say about it, gents. Only we've seen one trailer, who's in the cast, the premise of it, which is basically climate change over 33 years. So I don't really think we can comment anymore, but I will ask one last question. If you had Apple TV Plus, would you put it in your watch list?
I have Apple TV Plus, and I'm planning to put it in my watch list. Yes.
We have one because the producer is a bit of an iPhone geek. So anyone who orders an iPhone or anything associated with Apple products gets free Apple TV anyway. So I will be putting it in that Apple TV. I'll be putting it in the watch list.
I don't have it, and I don't really plan on watching it, but that's just me.
If it came in, all right, let me try and rephrase that. If it became available on other platforms, would you watch it as of this
Probably
point?
not.
All right, then let me rephrase that. Would you watch it if Nathan said, "Yeah, you really need to watch this. It is brilliant."
No.
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 Probably not. Nathan doesn't have much control like that over me. I don't like anyone hyping anything up. I have not watched Breaking Bad because of how many people talked about it, saying how great it was.
Now, can I just say, Ben, I have seen Breaking Bad. I got through season 3, but I couldn't watch it after that. I just couldn't.
So I haven't watched Game of Thrones because of things like that.
Yeah.
I do not like people coming to me and saying, you need to watch this. It makes me not enjoy it if it's something I need to watch.
Yeah, if you're doing it out of obligation. It would be different if you were to say stumble on it and you're like, oh
yeah, if I stumbled upon it myself,
this is pretty good.
That's the thing though. I might take sounding like I'm taking the piss here, but I'm not. Nobody really said to me you should watch Game of Thrones. I just happened upon it one day and just went from there. Although if you do end up watching Game of Thrones, do not watch season 8 at all. Just please do not.
So if I hear people talking about it, it's fine. It's as soon as they mention that it's something that needs to be watched or you have to do this for it or whatever, like you need to watch this. Oh, it's the greatest show of all time. I can't do it because they ruined it for me.
To be honest with you, I could happily go to you and say Last of Us needs to be watched, but it is that good. However, it's the same thing. It's based on a video game. It's a little bit different. And if you played the games, there's no way as to whether you'll like it or not. A lot of people do like it. It just depends on whether you want to watch it or not. Or I don't actually think if people say I need to watch it, I will go, well, I don't need to. I might go and watch it and see if it's any good, but I don't need to. I need to watch Star Trek because I've been a fan of Star Trek since I was about 5 years old. That I do need to watch. NCIS.
There's nothing I need to do. Yeah. There's nothing I need to do. It's all voluntary. So I do not like that voluntary being taken away.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's controlling. Now, I can always say, no, it's voluntary, whatever, but I don't like people saying, because it's supposed to build up hype. I do not like people who build up hype, and because a lot of the time, it never delivers to the hype they're saying.
Yeah, he has got a point there. But then again, when studios cast actors and everyone's like, why have they cast him? I just go, do you know what? We've had this discussion thousands of times. There's been actors who you wish you have said on the day you would not want them to play that. They've played it. You've loved it. So as far as casting choices go, I just think, okay, I'll wait until I see it.
So I've had people come up to me and ask me, like, should I watch this? Should I watch that? It's a show, and it's like the best I always say, instead of like hyping anyone up or anything like that, I say, I love it. Check it out. That's all. It's like, if I've seen it. If I have gripes with it, I'll tell them a few gripes I have with it, but it's their choice to check it out. No, I'm not going to say, oh, it's great, you gotta watch this, or it's the most amazing show ever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's like how I got into watching SmackDown. I got in for you have to see this. And if you can't answer me that why with something other than it's the greatest show ever.
Yeah, I'm not.
You have to watch that. The reason I got into watching WWE SmackDown is, well, they got this one-legged wrestler, and he's fighting for a contract tonight. I thought of you, and I thought, oh shit, you might want to see this. Then I'm like, okay, you've got a reason. Sure, I'll watch it. Why not? But
it's like how I got him to fall in love with Danhausen.
Okay, that was a funny story. We'll save that for B&D. We'll save that for B&D.
Do you want to know why I got back into WWE?
Because they got the F out?
No, because... I hated that. No.
I'm going to get a drink, by the way. Give me a second.
Sorry. This was when I was about, I'll say 15, 16 years of age. So it'd probably be about 98, 99. Probably could have been 99. There was an old VCR on a unit with a TV. Somebody bought King of the Ring 98 for us to watch over lunchtime. Specifically, they just fast forwarded straight to Hell in a Cell 98. And I thought, do you know what? This sounds like my cup of tea. So I actually got Sky. This is obviously who broadcasted it in England at the time. And therefore, it was just a case of I watched Raw and SmackDown every Tuesday night and Saturday night or Saturday morning. Because obviously over here it's 2 a.m. in the morning. And when you're still at school, you can't really stay up and watch it. I was saying that I did stay up and watch 98 All-Star Game. I mean, then somehow I managed to get me sent out of bed on that Monday morning, which I still amazed myself to that day.
How?
I know, it's weird.
I was raised on wrestling, so...
Yeah.
I wasn't, actually. My dad is probably the antichrist of professional wrestling lovers.
My dad loved it.
He hated it. First thing he'd say is it's all fake. And I'm like, well, and I just thought to myself, if he thinks it's fake, then he's missing the point. Soap operas are fake, but he watches that.
I made that point to Nathan's mom once.
It was.
I made that point to Nathan's mom once with wrestling. Actually,
dear God,
we were sitting at dinner. I have to. Yeah, we were sitting at dinner and we were talking about how after dinner we were going to. I think this was when we were doing the pool.
Yeah, the
we were going to watch AEW
2021. Yeah, I remember this.
And sitting there, I don't know how you guys can watch that. It's fake. I looked at her. I said, no, it's scripted. And she's like, yeah, fake. And I said, so how are your soap operas going for you?
Yeah.
I myself would have preferred, is it the Sid Vicious treatment where somebody went to him and said wrestling's fake, so he immediately slapped someone and said, was that fake?
Well,
yeah.
He does have a point, but not really great.
No. It's not fake. It's predetermined, but it's not fake.
Yep. It's one of those things. Though, if you want to shut my mother up, attack her soap operas.
If I had if it had been so like, if this had been like a year ago or that, I would have said it's scripted, not predetermined. But now, with the landscape of wrestling as it is, it's predetermined, not so scripted.
Yeah. That's why Roman Reigns has been champion for 900 days.
Which we'll get to on body slams and drop kicks. But for now, I don't know about you. I think we call it here.
Yeah, I think we've done everything we can, gentlemen. I've even provided a bit of career advice for everyone, which is a first for me. So I hope if there is any aspiring podcasters out there who listen to this podcast, I hopefully have shown them a way to which they could do podcasting full time if they wish. And if anyone does end up taking this course, I wish you the best of luck with it. But by all means, do send me a message on Final Cut Official on Instagram if you do plan to do this course, and then to let me know how you've gone with it. So with that being said, chaps, anyone can find me on Final Cut Official on Instagram, as I just said. YouTube, we are on Final Cut Directors. What is it? I'm trying to remember. Final Cut Directors Cut podcast on YouTube. It's because I have about 3 different YouTubes, and I keep trying to remember which one's which. Everything's still going nicely. F1 Manager, I'm now 1 season behind. But for the next couple of days, in fact, after we finish this, I'm going to put up season 2 preseason and season 2 race 1 from Bahrain. I'm in season 3 now, and if I'm being brutally honest, it's a headache and a scratch fest because I've probably scratched my head so many times. There should be blood coming out from the top of my head. But that's what management sin does to you. It makes you question why you did what you did. So, gentlemen, I do feel there may not be a season 4 because I don't think my sanity is going to survive season 3. And yes, it is that bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on www.deathpixie.ca. If you want to talk to me about voiceover and or commission me for some of your own, www.deathpixie.ca is the best way to get a hold of me.
I'm around. You
can find me
DGen
on
Sigma
Twitter.
on things.
On DGen Sigma, you can find me on Twitter.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like super relaxed finally.
Also, you can find me relaxing in an easy chair. If I'm in said easy chair and you do not wish to be kicked in the groin, please don't bother me.
And on that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.